And hello, everybody. Happy Friday. We did it. We made it through. And tonight's going to be a fun night and a sad night. Fun night in the sense that it's Fun Night Friday. And we're going to see how quickly we can TPK tonight. That's always fun.
Woo!
Mostly because I enjoy the responses from the players every time I say that. But, that's just me. I'm selfish that way. I almost said jealous. Why would I be jealous? There's no reason to be jealous.
Of the sweet cold hug of death.
Definitely the sweet cold hug of death. That is the single most important thing that has ever happened, is that death is just a cold hug, as they say.
Indeed, they say that. There are at least 5 people who say that.
Brandon, thank you so much for the subscription. Appreciate that. So it's Friday night, and the sad thing is, for now, he will be reappearing on occasion as a classic NPC, a bringer of death and disparity and destruction to the sanity of the Sinder world. Harrow, this should be his last game tonight for a little while until he comes back as Harrow as an NPC. So Dan has a very busy schedule, both with work and many other things that he's working on. But before we worry about that too much, let's just take a few minutes to do some housekeeping. And so, Gray, what are you working on these days?
Okay, I'm gonna be quiet because I got a tiny sleeping baby. Not a human, is a cat, just to be clear. I'm working on some things like a podcast, but I haven't edited in forever because how could you edit when there's a tiny beanchy yond? Okay, Fleek Hotel Diablo. It's a Mage the Assistant 5th edition podcast. You can find that basically anywhere you can find podcasts. She did the roll. It is a combination of Vampire 5th edition mechanics alongside mage mechanics with a sanity system sprinkled atop of it. We're about halfway through the first season now, and we have a special Vincent one-shot coming out next. Vincent played by Daniel Thrasher. Things happen.
That I can confirm. There were events, they form a narrative.
And then they happened. Cool. And Dan, what do you got going on this week or these days?
I got quite a bit going on. First and foremost, Tuesday nights, you can come and check us out on Twitch. The Society of Uncanny Pros, or just Uncanny Pros on Twitch. We also have been releasing our stuff to YouTube. Can find us on there as well. It's a fun 5th edition game running content from the lovely third-party developer GUI Cube. They are a great maker of setting-specific content. They've got some new classes, some really cool setting-specific races for the world that they've made. They have one of the most detailed settings I have seen outside of the vast resources of Wizards of the Coast and Paizo. Highly suggest you come check it out. It's a real fun time. We just started up our main campaign again after a few months hiatus. Come check it out. Heroes of the Realm, back in action. Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Do the thing and come on by. We like you.
And down below is all the abouts and everything you need to know about both Uncanny and Odd. Also, Ivar, what do you got going on in your shop these days?
I don't know. You can go get a Harrow shirt. World's greatest dad. I just put that up recently. It's on Redbubble, Dark One Designs. And I sold my first shirt. Every avalanche begins with a pebble falling down a cliff.
Oh, so that's such a sweet
someone
thing.
Was my pebble, and thank you for that. So, all right, man. So, yeah, so I'm trying to put up new artwork on that at least every few of them every month. So
All right, and with that, we're introducing a new player. He is in our Discord. Goes by Gajo. He goes by Fernando, and his character
Hello.
is Merrick. And we will be introducing the character a little bit later on as we unfold this final episode with Harrow and begin to bring in one of our new players. There are some technical challenges. Merrick is all the way down there in Rio de Janeiro, and unfortunately his camera will not allow him to have fun playing in the game. So we're using his avatar with his voice so that he can actually enjoy playing the game without any kind of latency and lag, and he can hear us and stuff like that. Like I've always said in the past, even if we weren't sharing this game with you on Twitch, we would pretty much still be playing. I love playing these games. I love playing RPGs and tabletop RPGs. Our live studio is now officially open. We had our first Castle Panic board game last Sunday. All the microphones are working. The one that I broke, I've just replaced this week because I'm an idiot. When you go to stand up and you forget to unclip it and your foot is on the wire, it's true. The head's just shear right off. And I can validate that's exactly what happened. Ivar was there and saw it. So we are gradually trying to put together our Sunday morning live campaign, which I've got some unique thoughts on that. My hope is to get a table of strangers together and let them pick the game they want to run. They will be building the campaign. They will be building their characters. They will be building the theme. They will pick everything as a group, and I merely narrate whatever they've picked to be the campaign. So affords me the opportunity to actually build something completely from scratch. So yeah, right. I can't even tell you how many headsets I've gone through. I feel like Gaia has a special place in hell for me for the amount of metal, plastic, and wire that I'm punishing her earthen form with all my mistakes with electronic equipment and gear. I'm not going to lie about that. So, hey everybody, welcome to Age of Arcanum. We are, well, before we recap, I just want to take this moment to say, Dan, it's been a pleasure. It's been awesome. I love watching you play in your other games. We look forward to you coming back as an NPC. We also look forward to the eventual studio one-shots we will be doing out here occasionally for all my local players.
I'll try to make it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I really want to get Shannon out here to do a Mage the Ascension one-shot at the table because, you know, she's just creepy as fuck when she does that mage stuff. So we're going to go a little further back on the recap because, one, we've got a new player. I always like to try to help bring my players up to the latest of most recent events. Now, I've already done my one-on-one with Fernando's character, and we've kind of gone over the backdrop, and he's created something very unique, but I think it fits in flavor-wise very well into the overall theme, including the fact that Harrow is just crazy as fuck, so I think that works. But, you know, crazy in a hot way, H-A-U-T way, you know, because Harrow's fucking badass. So where we last left off, our team had finally managed to evacuate the city or the town of Espis on the back of a very large sauropod. They were being hunted by a death squad sent by the slave master of the slave lord city, and found out that the conduit stone is now out in the open. This is what drove them deep into the wastes. Having just barely escaped, they took some solace and took some refuge in one of Harrow's towers, waited out an acid storm, managed to avoid the worms that existed in this area. However, with the massive storm that occurred, it revealed a ruined city. They also ran into a rather large mollusk, a salt snail. This snail had the remnants of an abandoned campsite adhered to its backside. Here they discovered a long-forgotten map of a ruined city that clearly these individuals were looking for that had somehow perished out here in the wastes. However, the ruined city offered up more questions with very few answers, but they did manage to find a pre Age of Arcanum city, a city that once was, fully engulfed in the idea of items and resources that had never been seen or even in some cases understood. The coming across books made of this substance called paper, um, furniture that had petrified into hard rock-like leftovers. But by far the most interesting thing they found was that they were almost at each other's throats through some divine chaotic interaction that was going on. But they also found the remains of a large skeletal creature that looked very similar to the winged drakes, but actually resembled something more unfamiliar to them. However, the skeleton was coveting a large egg-like sphere. The sphere was relinquished by the souls that maintained the voices of the ruins, and the team just barely managed to escape. Unfortunately, with the continuation of yet another storm, the mollusk creature perished in the protection of the team from the acid storm. And once the acid storm had relinquished itself, or once the acid storm had settled in, Harrow had, I think, once again found a way to construct an interesting tower upon which the team could hide inside to eventually allow this storm to pass by. Now, the acid storms out in the wastes are incredibly destructive, can last up to hours or days depending on the season. And we are currently on the end of the season of light, transitioning into the season of heat, I believe. The hottest period of the time on Cinder. Usually about 9 months out of the year, Cinder is roughly 110 to 130 degrees Fahrenheit. The nights are short, the days are long. There's a small 3 to 4 week cycle of relatively normal weather. And there's about a small 2-month cycle of incredibly cold, frigid weather where Cinder's sun mysteriously always seems to go to a near eclipse-like existence, plunging the entire world into near darkness for 2 solid months. However, that actually turns out to be the most productive time in Cinder. But for now, we're wrapping up the season of light and we're about to start the season of heat. Now, with this, all of you are currently in Harrow's tower. Harrow, you have decided to take your long rest while the others are still awake and kind of going back and forth about thoughts and understandings of what to do next. Sephora has used this time to attempt to sneak into your chambers and have some kind of discussion with you, perhaps. With this, Harrow, in the very corner of your mind, the first voice wakes you up. It's a unfamiliar voice. It's a voice that kind of just floats in the back of your eyeballs, piercing, cracking the front of your understanding of why you're being woken up. Harrow, you should really wake up, Harrow. And then another voice drifting in, pulsing, causing your headache to come back. This voice just kind of lingers. Harrow, Harrow, why are you not awake, Harrow? There's somebody here and I think she's gonna kill you, Harrow. And then another voice, Harrow, wake up. And these voices are now crashing in on you. And as they crash in on you, your eyes open. You look straight up to see Sephora lingering near your bedside.
Sephora.
Hello, Harrow.
What
I
are
require
you,
your assistance.
what are you doing in my room?
You're the chosen one.
Not yours. Get out.
I won't be able to do that. You see, can I explain something to you?
Speak.
Well, every 7 years, my people undergo the Tan-free Ulan, the mating fever. And it causes us to seek out the most suitable specimens for mating, and, well, I felt your power from the minute you put your foot onto Espis. And I tracked you down and followed you, and, well, when I decided that you were the one, I explained my situation to Mistress Greenbottle, and she made the introductions to you, but it's becoming late in the season, and I must procreate. Now, it's very easy. You see, this barb, it's called the Shanfar. It will enter the base of your skull. And
Sorry. Holy shit.
its secretions will give you sensations of ecstasy that no human has ever felt. And it will then extract some of your essence, and then it will fertilize my eggs.
My essence?
Just
Was that supposed to be my mind?
no, your essence of everything, and then just a little bit. It won't take anything away from you, and we will make a being. Your arcane power, I can feel it, and the being that we will make together will be more pure and more powerful than both of us. Now, if you don't wish to do that, I'll have to battle you to the death. And I really don't want to do that. I really like you, Harold. I like everyone. I like to continue our adventuring, but I am under the effects of the fever.
Wee doggy.
So I'm asking you this favor. No pressure.
Sephora. I don't know if I can give you a proper response to this right now.
Harold, give me a charisma save.
I got a fever, and the only cure is boning.
Jason,
Yes.
that is a
Here is
beautiful.
more Harrow.
That is a beautiful 4.
A beautiful 4. Holy shit. With that, you could almost feel the voices becoming slightly corporeal in your mind, to the point where if you could feel tissue and brain matter begin to fracture, it's precisely how it begins to feel. This conversation with Sephora has invoked strange notions and concepts in your mind. There's 2 things that kind of respond to this. One, there's a voice that becomes a little bit more resonant and burbles to the surface. The voice of an individual you recall that goes by the name of Merrick. And you remember coming across what you think he was out in the wastes. You remember absorbing his thought and his understanding of the world to greatly enhance your understanding of the deep wastes as well. But then something else kind of permeates through the haze and sound of dozens of voices just colliding in and around. A very strange Sephora kind of staring at you expectantly, and these words trying to form. And you feel the conduit stone begin to pulse. You could feel the conduit stone begin to take on its relevancy yet again. Arrow. You're broken, Arrow. I don't believe you have what it takes to accomplish this task. I believe your journey lies elsewhere. Normally, I would merely consume you and move on. But Arrow, your journey may still be important to the others. What you discover, see, and find out in the wastes may yet still play a role in this world. I don't know what it is, but there's an essence, there's a creature within you that I will attach myself to. I will give him form, therefore allowing me to exist on the face of Sinder, giving me the ability to involve myself in this world and to help guide the others to where they must go, seek out what they must know. But Harrow, I can assure you, this is going to be extremely painful.
You think you can just abandon us? Me?
Zephora, you watch as Harrow grabs their head as if to be in like skull-splitting pain. Harrow, you have 1 hit point left. You watch as blood and other viscous material begins to ooze out of the corner of Harrow's eyes. His nose is bleeding. He's got blood coming out of the corners of his mouth. And you watch as an arcane swirl of like energy and shock pulses out of him. And you watch as this creature begins to take form. Nearby, you see the conduit stone. A stone that only you've been kind of understanding through discussion. But there you see it pulsing with a radiant light. Just pulsing. And then as this creature comes into existence, pulled out of the very physicality of Harrow, you watch as the stone and this miasmic form just swirl together. There's a huge pulse of light. And standing there alongside you and the now very in pain Harrow. Merrick, go ahead and describe yourself for us.
He's wearing clothes from pre-Arcanum era, which must be really strange for you. Cotton and wool, and maybe silk somewhere in his scarf. Very well made for the time already. And now, I don't know how you see it, but he is an educated man. And he has a symbol in his cape that identifies him as a legionnaire of Talon. And he is in pain. You said he's in pain. Can I have a description of what it feels for me?
For you, you can remember what it was like to meet Harrow in the Wastes. You can remember allowing Harrow to absorb your essence, to understand a particular kind of thought and understanding of the world of a certain time. This fed into Harrow's continuous kind of obsession with arcane artifacts, relics, arcane styles of magic.
Mm-hmm.
But the physicality of your fracture stepping out doesn't hurt you nearly as much as the conduit stone kind of sitting there and pulsing and then fusing with you. And then you feel the voice of the conduit stone in your head as you begin to take on physical form. The translucent transparency of your essence fading away as you feel for the first time air enter your lungs in almost 1,000 years. You feel your skin take on a weird texture. You feel the world around you, although magical at first because this tower doesn't make any sense. Your mind is full of gibberish and obscenities of all sorts as the stone just echoes in your head, Merrick. Merrick, I have decided you are the one that will deliver me. I'm not sure if you'll survive it, but I can assure you if you don't, someone else will. But I can at least offer you this, Merrick. I can offer you existence. You're no longer trapped in between those two veiled shadows you've lived in for a near millennia of time. I have taken a bit of Harrow out of Harrow, and I've put myself between your two veils of existence, allowing you to exist and carry me to where I must go. Don't know the path, but these individuals will help guide you to where that path hopefully will lead. But know this, Merrick. Don't disappoint me. And the voice kind of fades, and you're kind of just standing there. You can feel the clamminess of your textured skin, your weird kind of existence, that existence before the second veil dropped upon you and you became something else. But you're now Merrick. Words pummeling through your brain and mind, incoherent thought. Sephora and Harrow standing there watching as this person takes form. The three of you now in the chamber.
As I listen to the instructions given to me, and the pain slowly fades away and I stop screaming, I will very politely acknowledge the presence of the other two people in the room and bow, and then start to speak.
What are you?
Aroda, Zafora. No, it wasn't that. I can't remember her name, so I might as well help you.
Help me.
Help you? No, not you, Harrow. You are done for it. Your time is over.
No, it's
We
not.
talked about it. I think I remember a long time ago. Maybe we are talking now, and I'm mistaking this for a memory.
You're a thief. That's all you are. You take the power.
Christina Maria.
Well, this might be a
Ina.
perfect circumstance. See, you can live on through our children.
I'll just keep pacing in the room and murmur
Okay.
while they sort this out.
You creature. You thief. I'm gonna try to stand up and crumple down a little bit. I can feel something. It's eating at me. Sephora,
Yes.
we need life. It's overwhelming me.
Oh, I could help you with that pain.
Give me life. Do it.
Okay. I go and embrace him, and then I will have the
Did
Shanfar barb,
Did you just skull fuck Dan? I didn't approve that.
and then insert it into the
I
base of
did.
his skull.
Dan's like, I gave consent. Fuck you, Jason.
Yeah, Jason, you're very peripheral to this whole thing.
Yes. Let us do it. Let's do our thing.
Go ahead and give me sleight of hand. I want to make sure
You
you
can
don't
watch.
pierce his brain matter and cause him just to die instantly, at least.
Okay.
It's every 7 years. She's done this before.
Asuka is shocked and disturbed.
So much so, she must pat her off.
24.
24. This happens with lightning speed and precision to the point, Hera, where you don't even feel a thing. And you can already see the barb retracting back behind Sephora. And you see a great, like, kind of relief on her face, genuine fear and concern in regards to her feelings towards you. She didn't want to have to fight you to the death. And for you, Sephora, you begin to feel your blood kind of reduce. You know, the blood is no longer boiling, forcing you into a behavior that made you very uncomfortable around Harrow. The two of you kind of nearby each other, kind of examining this outcome.
And I'm going to try to help him. I'm going to cast Healing Word.
Okay.
1d4 plus 4 hit points.
So, Zafara, the small clutch of eggs that you have already absorbed the matter and the essence. Due to your high roll and the sleight of hand, you can feel that 2 male and 1 female, so 3 in the clutch, are alive and already beginning to do that initial larval state before they become, the precursor to Yanti babies. The clutch usually takes anywhere from 3 to 6 months to hatch, depending on circumstances and situation. The clutch of eggs, not much smaller than, a handful of mass.
I get 5 hit points back.
Okay.
Okay, 6. That's something.
That's a fifth of a harrow.
Better than nothing.
It's a fifth of a harrow.
Okay, what do I normally do with those eggs? Just keep them, or?
It's up to you. Choose to do whatever you want with them. Normally, it's tradition that both male and female go separate ways and share in the raising of the clutch.
I will keep the female egg, and I will give him the other 2 eggs.
Okay.
Well, I'm just sort of sitting there on the ground, like, tripping out, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah. That's up to you. I mean,
in ecstasy.
Yeah.
And to a certain degree, post the interchange of both physical matter and almost like a bit of the essence that is Harrow's, like, multiple personality and fractured kind of mind, it's actually the first time, for the brief, like, minute that this takes place, all the voices go silent. All of them go silent for the first time ever since you shattered your mind. And the first feeling of peace and content, the first feeling of possibly feeling a rare feeling that you've only experienced once or twice in your life, but happy, satisfaction, contempt, a level of content that is only ever familiar to you when you pick up a missing relic or a magical item that just pulls you into it and gives you that opportunity. You can even feel your blood kind of boil with the reaction of those amazing arcane objects and old relics of a very old past pulsing in your backpack, those books and the paper and the sheafs of history so old that could take months just to peruse and study and focus on. And then for the first time, you notice Sephora staring at you with genuine concern. You can feel her words pour into your ear and kind of stabilize that psychic disruption in your mind, some of your health returning back to you. And it's at this point the two of you realize you're not alone. That entity is still pacing in your bed chamber, mumbling strange female names, running their hand through their hair in kind of like fractured confusion.
So, now that we're finished with this, what are you?
I look at you with this. Well, you can see in my avatar the look I give you. And I say, a little girl, wings, dances on top of rails inside 5-inch box. Curtain that seems to be made of dragonfly's wings. A brown structure with a sturdy look with ornamental vortexes carved in it. On top of the brown structure, a soft, warm, cozy, almost cloud-like texture. And that's all I remember. Well, I've been a legionnaire for Telona. I remember doing terrible things. Terrible things. I'm really good at these terrible things. And well,
you're in good company because we're all good at very terrible things.
I can't see who is in the bed. I stood by her side all the way until the very end. So I have those memories because I stayed every day watching this woman that I don't even know the name, but I know that I loved, slowly die of a disease that the fanatics of Tailona, they promised they would cure her. You know, you might think that I lost my memories when I became a wraith, because that makes sense, right? When you die, you lose your memories. But no, when I was a legionnaire, I didn't have my memories. I had forgotten a lot of what I was. And I remembered one thing. That's what's keeping me here right now. I think that's it.
Arrow, do we need to kill it?
But I think, I'm sorry?
What is it? Like, Caro, do you know where this came from?
Yes, I think that is more important than the only memory I have of my loved one. So I'm gonna talk about it then, if you don't want to know. But I assure to you, this is a very important thing. I've been pondering about this for hundreds of years, and it is the most important thing, much more important than whatever it is that we have to do. That this stone thingy, I point at the stone. It is still there. Is it still pulsating?
It's absorbed into you at this point. The difficulty with
it's inside of me, so I'm pointing at myself then.
Yeah, the conduit stone.
The conduit stone.
Yeah, the conduit stone
I'm pointing at myself.
Yeah, is part of you now. And Harrow, and Harrow, it's interesting as Merrick discusses these memories that are kind of rambling out of his mouth, and these thoughts and these processes kind of echoing between you and Sephora. It is a familiar voice. This voice was once in your head. You can still hear the kind of like Kalashnikov activity of voices returning gradually. This one is absent, and it has taken form, and you no longer feel that heightened sense of arcane wit and arcane understanding that the conduit stone had offered you. This begins to slowly consume your mind with a bit of anger frustration. You feel some old feelings coming back from before.
No. We don't need
Dara,
to kill
Ray,
you.
can you come in here?
Sephora, we don't need to kill Merrick here.
Oh, we don't? All right.
Just another lost soul. But this one escaped. How'd they get out?
Where did he get out of?
Is everything okay?
Stone? We
Yes,
have a new
yes,
friend
everything is
here.
fine.
Whoa, why is there
Unfamiliar
another
voice.
into the room?
I think
It's
he's
like-
a friend.
Who is this? Why are they in the bed chamber and how did they get here? Hera, are you okay?
Quite fine. Thank you.
What?
Yes, well, this thing
Hello,
appeared
how are you?
Great,
Harrow
great.
knows him.
You must be Dara, right?
Yes, who are you?
I'm not sure, but call me Marek. I
Okay,
used to
Marek.
be a legionnaire for Tylona about, I don't know, what year are we?
It's been some time for you, I think.
Oh,
Sometime
poor
indeed.
Harrow.
So, Harold,
It was,
from what you can remember, it's now the year 2203. For you, Merrick, this is a long time.
yeah, it's almost like a rhetorical question, in fact. Now that I think about it, will approach Harrow with a little bit of sorrow because I kind of understand his fate, now that he doesn't have the stone anymore. And I'm kind of feeling bad for him.
Pull my rapier out. I don't know what he's doing. Just stand ready.
Tara, it's all right. We understand each other, don't we? We know each other more intimately than lovers, in fact. It's not every day
Oh,
someone gets
yes.
to live inside of you.
Your desert is a labyrinth without walls.
That's so Harrow, too. That's such a Harrow, like...
You cast a spell, Hera. What happened?
Something's wrong. Or right. I don't know. Different.
I was about to explain, is there anyone else with you? I should tell you what the instructions were by this, and I point at myself again, stone.
And with that, Gray and Dara, Merrick has mentioned the conduit stone, and he's pointed at himself. Also,
Do you have a necklace?
I might.
why
My body is like a psychic reflection of myself, so it could have a place where the conduit stone is visible.
You're a Steven Universe gem.
On my end, I'm just gonna walk into the room and look exhausted and just point a hand at Merrick. I'm gonna need you to explain what is happening as quickly as physically possible, or else we're probably gonna have to kill you. Seems to be a trend.
Oh no! Don't kill me again. It's been tough already the first time. Well, what do you want to know about myself? I was talking about myself a minute ago, but I think the conduit stone thingy is more important. So, what is going on is that from out of the many souls and spirits wandering inside Harrow, I'm one of them. And oh, Harrow hasn't told you? Oh,
I'm afraid not.
oh. I look at Harrow and I like pat his head. Oh, poor thingy. Man. I'm like, well, okay, from the beginning, Harrow has souls inside of him. And I'm one of them.
How are you outside of him?
Well, the way he uses to absorb the soul goes beyond my comprehension. But I think it is related somehow to this powerful, pulsating stone that is now embedded in my body. And I am but a wraith, a tool used a long time ago to some very nasty things. But, well, I'm not proud of any of them. As I'm sure that Harrow is not proud of lies that he has been telling you, probably. Are you?
Lies.
Morph. An omission. Gray, you have a question.
Oh,
Yeah.
omission. It takes me back to my backstory. Omission.
Oh,
That
no.
is all that I have. Do you want to hear more about what I don't know about myself?
And I'll say this
Okay.
as something you guys pick up about Merrick. Everything he does is frantic. Everything is hurried and rushed. You get this feeling like he's got this sense of almost instant fatality. This idea that taking on this form and being here is going to be snatched from him at any second. Any second. The energy and intensity of his frantic kind of words pouring out of him, his thoughts, his processes, his just it's all coming out faster, and it just
That's very, very precise.
and it's just you get this frenetic feeling, this kind of temporary feeling. Yes, Gray.
Harrow. I've recently learned a little bit about what it's like to be haunted. Would you like those souls not in your person?
I don't even know anymore.
Are you afraid that you wouldn't be you without them?
I've gotten to a place where I'm not actually sure who me ever was.
You could rediscover yourself on your own terms.
Something changed when I picked up the book so long ago. When I found the tome, I didn't understand the words. I didn't understand what had happened. When I took them inside of me, all of them, my mother, my father, I didn't know what it meant. Just bodies. 100 more. My entire caravan. I can hear them. Not as they were. At first they just begged and taunted. For all I know, it isn't even them. You were different, Merrick. You came to me fully formed. Already a spirit. You were still whole. It meant you could keep yourself, at least mostly. I'm glad you're out. I think you'll have fun.
Thank you, Harrow.
Gray, Go ahead and Gray, give me a quick perception check as you're.
I have an idea. I will make this perception check.
Yeah.
I have an idea. While I'm making this perception check and moving this very small cat, who does not want to be moved.
There was a scary vacuum, so she jumped up.
Oh, big stretch.
Funny, Harrow. That's almost what she said. The woman that I don't remember very well.
What
That's
were
a
her words?
24.
There's two things you notice quickly, Gray, as this conversation is playing out. One, Harrow has gripped, without even realizing it, onto that familiar metallic black book that he had been gifted by the Croakers. You also begin to notice that his mask has a swirling dark energy that is now slightly reacting to Harrow as Harrow begins to intensify his emotions slightly.
Okay. Okay. So if we don't want to get rid of them, which that's your choice, it's your body, your choice. If there was any one of them that you could talk to by choice, would that interest you?
You can do this.
I can try.
Fine. Something hurts. Show me my father if you can.
Okay. Can I have your hands? I'm going
I think I give one hand. I think the other hand is gripping the book and I don't
book.
realize that.
Yeah.
You do that, and I just do this.
All of you in this space notice a strange kind of shimmer throughout the tower, almost like a blink, a blur. Lines kind of crack form and refocus. The space feels tenuous.
Okay. Okay. What was his name?
Anoman.
Okay. How? That's a cat biting me. I'm going to attempt to do speak with dead on a specific spirit.
I don't even know if that'll work.
We're going to find out. Gray, as you cast the spell, give me a charisma save, please.
No! That is a spicy 5.
You and Dan, man, I tell you.
We love to fail those charisma saves.
The interior of Harrow's mind, as you begin to search and peel through it, looking for this memory or this voice or this thought process that is Harrow's parentage, there's a couple things that kind of crash around you. It's crowded in here. It's very crowded in Harrow's mind. There are forms and creatures of all matter, voices that echo like almost internally in your mind as you begin to feel this kind of psychic kind of collision with something inside of you. And for the first time, the entity that takes on the form of the dagger currently takes a moment to take form in your mind. It seems to relish this opportunity of insanity, this crushing sense of depression and horror that is Harrow's place of existence, this place between his ears, this mind. But as all of these voices are crashing together and swirling about, they seem to be almost like forming this swirling vortex of energy that is pouring out into Harrow's subconscious, into his psyche. But it pains you so much to look. You're looking at a void, an emptiness. There's nothing left of Harrow. There's almost as if it's been consumed by something unseen. The memory that he is hoping you can find. There's just darkness, anger, sadness, a fractured spirit that is now slowly coming apart. Somebody has seen something so traumatic that this process, this world, the space that he currently is in, is coming apart. You're watching as Harrow is slowly drifting into complete insanity.
Is he aware of what I found? Would I know that?
No, because you're delving. You're deep. You're deep in his psyche. A psyche that he spends a great deal of time trying to avoid and suppress. You're in its raw state, its rawest of forms. You can feel it just like electricity on your skin. There's even a moment where the creepy kind of visage of the essence that emblazons in the dagger kind of turns back over its shoulder to look at you. Yes, this is my kind of world. And then as you feel your own subconscious begin to drift, this strange connection, you feel a warm sensation on your shoulder. You look to see a hand and a face that you really want to be familiar. Female face, short cropped hair, deep, deep eyes staring at you intently. They pull you back from the very edge of what you are about to step into. All of the vortex swirls about you, it separates, and there it is, the missing memory. There is Harrow's father. Harrow, what would it look like to Gray?
Oh gosh, I imagine it would look like it would look very bright, very crystallized and jagged, though, like a glowing, sharp rock that has refused to let anything touch it. Like you could try to carve at it or make it into something else, but it would cut you. This memory has been a certain way for a long time, and it's not allowed to be different than that. It was right and it was good, and there was nothing wrong with it. It's like like the centerpiece that everything's weighed on.
Gray, you have control again.
But I can't see any actual memory of your actual father, yes.
I imagine if you reached out to grab it, you could probably make that happen.
Well, I mean, have you met me?
All right. What happens, Jason? Do I hear something? Does something speak?
It's more of a feeling than a sense of auditory response. It's this passive calm just descends over Gray's face, and they smile briefly. They give you a sense of recognition. As Gray holds on to the emotion that is your father. They release it. They release the feeling of parentage, hope, love, understanding, loss. The feeling, a series of feelings that you've always grown to not embrace because it just made you weak and sad and forced you to make decisions that you knew made you falter. But they are firmly in control of that emotion. And Gray brings that feeling to the very front of your psyche. And as they do that, all the other voices fall silent. Everything becomes peaceful. The headache and pounding in your head fades. Gray, you feel the energy that is Harrow's memory of his father dissipate directly into the mask that Harrow is wearing. The conduit of that existence finally revealing itself to you, Harrow, as that memory fades into your mask and collides with the hidden magic rested there. You suddenly realize the mask itself was a gift from your father. This gifted mask suddenly becomes fused to your flesh, to your skin. You feel this pain begin to arc up and down your back. You feel your flesh begin to crawl with energy unlike anything you've ever felt before. All of you watch as the small amount of area that is visible to you of the physical nature that is Harrow, his very skin begins to alter into an ashen gray that you can see. All of his hair recedes, falls out completely. You watch as what was once pupilled eyes staring at you through a mask, they go opaque, white and gray. Wings explode out of the back of Harrow's back. I hate saying back twice, but it's just fucking the way it is. You could see these flourishing, fractured skeletal wings just kind of hover there momentarily and then kind of furl in around. He's gripping the book under one arm. His hand tucks away this 2 clutch of eggs into a small raptor skin sack at his belt. Harrow, Gray has given you the best gift that they could possibly offer you. Silence, connection, the sense that whatever this mask was or is, the sense of whatever that memory that they've retrieved for you, you feel a second chance begin to burble to the surface of your consciousness. This book, this place, this world, maybe it needs you, maybe it doesn't. Unburdened by the conduit stone, unburdened by the idea that your suffering now must continue alone, now you have a choice as to what you can do as the full nature of the mask reveals itself to you. The polymorph essence of the mask has bound you to the Azamir bloodline that was once your father's bloodline. This fallen magic begins to appear throughout your veins, and the very nature of your physicality begins to alter and shift. For those of you watching Harrow shift and become something new, the 4 of you stare as you watch the mask itself fuse to both skin and skull that is Harrow. You watch as it takes on a translucent effect of Harrow's being. Harrow, you are looking through eyes for the first time that have given you the true nature of true vision. You can see the heart that pumps in Dara's chest. You can see the conduit stones circle about the translucent form of Merrick. You can see the dark, hateful spirit that is slowly consuming Gray, its essence wrapped around what must be her soul and sucking that soul dry. The naivete of Zephora's face, the genuine honesty that is somebody that can look at a world with simple understanding of failure and success, rides on nothing more than the whim of murder or life. Black and white reality. You can see through all of these people who you once called friends and this new creature, Merrick, that has come into existence.
This is a much closer friend.
Yeah. And you feel a word form on your lips. Boredom. This place offers us nothing. Spread your wings, Harrow. Find your true path. The obelisk is out there. The very nature of this world's foundation for you to take and adhere yourself to. The power of creation, Harrow. That's your father's voice, gravelly, rumbles around inside your space of a head. It's so silent, it's almost loud and booming and deafening between your ears. They've given you the gift of which you've never been given before, Harrow. Gift of choice. Gift of free will. The voices are gone. The mask that I am, your heritage, as a fallen angel revealed to you. You have free will, Harrow. What will you do with it? And the voice fades. Your new form sits there hovering just ever so 2 inches above the surface as your feet no longer touch the ground. You seem to just hover in that point. You could feel the wings on your back, their translucent membranes, skeletal-like substance kind of curl and coalesce. The ability to fly granted to you. The ability to see through things for what they are granted to you. But a slight sense of loss. Whatever Harrow used to be, you are now beginning to become something completely different. Different. Words, they work.
Forgive me if I'm maybe going a little bit too far with this, but I imagine that I might look over to Gristler, my familiar, and perhaps instead of the reptilian form, it's now sort of like gray raven.
More
The
important,
extinct creatures that
more than
you've heard from legend.
more than that, you watch as the veil of what it was falls away. You can see the tendrils of energy that connect it with a world that you almost see past the point of Gressler. You can see a world that no one else can see. This Fey kingdom connected to your familiar. And you could watch as creatures wink in and out of existence all throughout Sinder, as other individuals who practice these arcane arts bring their familiars in to this world. You watch as there's a moment of recognition on your familiar's face, as the reptilian form falls away and the feathered form of its raven self, a purple light of energy and reality unlike anything you've ever experienced before. and it just settles on your shoulder, nuzzles into your ear and cheek, and just seems to stare at nothing, looking beyond. For the first time, a mental connection with your best friend complete.
Now, as I speak now, will it be a beak moving, or is it sort of disembodied?
It's very disembodied. The old insecure Harrow is dead. You are
Okay.
You are a different Harrow now. You are very certain of your purpose. And the unfortunate part is you don't feel it's with your friends. It's somewhere else.
Boredom. I'm going to look out at all of them. First, starting with Merrick. You've found yourself a very interesting toy. I would safeguard it. It's killed 2 I know already. Somni and me. It will try and take you.
Well, we'll see about that. I look kind of unfazed because I've been existing in this meta universe where oniric things were always happening. I'm like, okay,
Oh yeah.
now here's
I'm sure
this.
you might have
And
even
I'm gonna
seen like the potential of this happening.
yeah, I'm gonna say before you go, she said these exact words when she just realized she was going to die. Be happy. Well, be happy. Those are the words that make me still exist. So I hope you carry those with you too.
Be happy. I look over at Gray. I am happy. Though I don't know who I am. I'm going to be leaving now. The 3 of you. There is something that needs to be done. Whether we shall be friend or foe when we meet again, I'm not entirely certain. But now this. For the first time since I was a child, I've enjoyed myself. Especially with you, Gray. Dara. If I should see anyone bearing marks that might offend you, I shall remove their skin from them.
Good. Thank you.
And Sephora, I shall care for these. They will know power.
Thank you.
Enjoy the tower. It should last another 20 hours or so. And
Can I, before you go, just last thing. You're welcome. But also, you have a really nice smile, and you should wear it more often.
as I move whatever muscles exist around this beak.
He's a bird person now. I'm more into him.
I know. I felt like I should wait. I should have waited.
I should come out of that very different babies. And Harrow will just say, "Thank you." And if you'll allow me to, I'll just like separate several of the bricks and mortars of this tower to form an opening for me to walk through. They just sort of spin around like Magneto, manipulating metal style. And then I'm going to float out through them. And as I sort of like rip off into the sky, they'll reform back into the wall.
Well, I'm gonna miss him a little, not too much. I mean, it's been like more than a century. So yeah, more.
Well,
Was it more than a million years? I don't. Time,
I felt I
time
was
was
just
different
getting
there.
to understand him when he left.
Mm.
But I have a little piece of him to carry with me.
Yeah, also, we need to
Yeah.
address that. What?
Yes, I
I Oh, yeah.
procreated with Harrow before he left.
Oh. I don't want to ask.
You don't want to ask?
Congrats.
No, not gonna ask.
I'm sorry, it's the Tifanular. It's, mating fever. My people get it. I am compelled to mate or die. And he agreed. Oh, don't worry. It's nothing like humans. Just take a little
No.
bit of him. Yeah, I didn't hear you because I think you're like the mute hadn't gone on quite off.
I was just like, yeah. I that's why I didn't want to ask.
Yes, and now I have a fertilized egg that will come
Yes,
to term in
yes.
3 to
I
6
think
months.
I saw it. It was pretty wholesome. It was pretty wholesome.
Wholesome.
The whole thing.
Oh yes, you
Then.
were watching. I forgot about you.
Boy, are you.
Yes,
You
well.
voyeur.
Yeah, no, nothing like that. I was a little bit distracted by the burning pain across my entire body and existence, but yeah.
I'm going to miss him. Missing people is an emotion.
It is.
I don't like that he's not here anymore.
Well, he must have meant more than just help for you, right?
Oh, he was very entertaining and powerful and a little bit edgy.
Definitely edgelord.
He shot me with a fiery bolt into my chest, which just confirmed
And you miss
that
him.
he's the right mate for me.
Clearly, violence is a turn on.
Well, now what?
We go on. People leave and we go on. That's all we've ever done.
Well,
I should tell you about some sort of delivery that we have to make. Are you aware of that?
No.
oh, you have the stone now.
Yes, this stone. My understanding of the stone is clouded. At some point, my memories might come back. I have strange glimpses of the three of you. I don't know if I was seeing through Harrow's eyes, but maybe I can dig something up with time. For now, what I know is that we have to deliver the stone.
Yeah, wasn't Harrow taking us someplace to meet someone?
Yes,
that
Yes.
might know something about something. I don't know. I was just along.
Let me
Journey got
see if
interrupted
I
with us
can.
almost dying.
Well, I start to pace around the room and dig my memories to see if I can come up with a destination that we were supposed to go. But I suddenly stop walking and I look at you and I say, "Wait a minute. How can I trust you?" Like Harrow himself told me that I needed to be careful. Like, how can I know you were not just gonna take this stone from me and kill me in the process?
Well, let's see. For my part, I've made it already, so I won't need to kill or mate for 7 years. So you're good for the next 7 years for me. Gray sometimes is a little homicidal with her dagger. So sometimes you always have to kind of be careful with her. Sometimes you'll wake up with it and it'll be by your neck. But she
Yes,
hasn't
Gray.
killed any of us yet. So
Dara
I-
touch her.
Yeah, there's like a little scar bump, like
Yeah,
right there.
and Dara here, she's just been a treasure. She hasn't even tried to kill me once.
Well,
So, and if we wanted to kill you, then Haro would have told us to, and we probably would have. But Haro said you're okay, so you're okay with me.
but I won't forget the look that Gray gave me when I told her I had the stone.
Oh, their little dagger probably wants that stone, so I'd be careful with on that account. But
Okay,
other
help
than
me
that,
a
we're
little here
perfectly
then.
fine.
What do you know about this stone?
Not much. I knew it was very. They said that it disintegrated someone, so I wasn't going to touch it. And I figured if
Oh,
it was with Haro, who was very powerful,
yes.
it would be okay as long as it was with him. Now it's with you, so
We know that it holds great power that could potentially restore the balance of how the world was before. We're trying to find out more about it and how to do that.
oh, I have an
I
idea.
Do you remember who around in the before, Merrick?
I remember my missions for Tylona. Do you know this name? Is this does this carry any meaning in the times of today?
It does. Not a fan personally. Um,
Um, hmm, well, I think you should know what we need to do next since you have the stone. So,
to the stone, maybe is since it's a part of you, is there a
Well,
way for it to reveal its secrets to you?
I'll try. I'll try. Uh, I'll concentrate and I'll see if I can get in touch with this stone within myself. Give me a minute. Jason, should I try to roll Arcana or some kind of save to see if I can get in touch with?
Give me an Arcana check for starters.
And that is a 16 plus 1, 17.
17. You feel like whatever the stone is, bringing you into existence is but a first step of what it feels is appropriate. There's vacancy, a hollowness, a kind of tunnel of nothing. Perhaps it's waiting to find out if it's chosen correctly, if it's picked well. Your knowledge of the old world, your understanding of this new world is limited to what Harrow had been experiencing in the wastes. Your old self remembers it as a different valley, a fertile, a lush valley of forest and trees, a great expanse of water and community and society. And you remember this old valley known as the Valley of Opaque Existence. This great fertile refuge that many would travel to seek out guidance from the twins, to explore their feelings and understanding of the natural world, almost over a millennia ago. But then there's a conflicting image of a map in Harrow's mind. And now it's a desolate wasteland of death. There's no life. Sour and turned to acid, turned to despair. But you're given a glimpse of a very tall, singular mountainscape amongst a very desolate wasteland. And the Femur Valley comes to mind, the very bone of an old mountain that was said to be the very pillar and existence of this world. A place where if you were fortunate enough to be in tune with the world and the twins would reveal themselves to you. This was the Opaque Valley, but now is referred to in Harrow's mind as the Femur Valley. There's something there that's intended. There's something there, the beginning of a path, the feeling of an emotion. But there's something there. But it's cautionary in its revelation to you, concern, the energy fully exposed to the entirety of this world now. There's hesitancy, there's just the slightest hint of fear. There's definitely something in Femur Valley that's important to this journey.
Okay. I think I know it. Does any one of you have ever heard of Femur Valley?
Yeah, I think we were kind of making our way over there. It seems to maybe hold some knowledge, but I mean, I've never been there. I'm not quite sure.
Okay, so it's kind of complex, but I'll think in one single sentence it is like this. I don't like Tylona, and this place guards a power that also doesn't like Tylona. So I think we should go there.
That feels like the most like
To be clear,
straightforward tip we've
I've
gotten
been
in a long
working.
time.
I've been working for Tylona because I wanted to save my beloved one, and the disease prolonged for years, and she never got better. During that time, I learned a lot about the work of the Legionnaire, and once, before the great collapse of nature, I heard of a strategic place for Tylona's enemies. A place that now, it is now called the Femur Valley, but in my time it was the Opaque Valley. And if some sort of magical person, someone who can deal with these kinds of forces, would able to activate this place of power, then yes, the twins would basically come back. And they are like a good match for Tylona, I would say.
So you were there in the before time. Is it actually as green
Well,
as what's talked about? Is there actually water? Is there?
Yes. It falls from the sky and it's not acid. It can drink it straight from the sky. In the cold seasons, there is like flakes that falls lightly, and then like all the houses get white, and we like throw balls of this white solid water at each other.
Sounding
And it was
ridiculous.
cool. Yes, only the children did it. We were legionnaires. Well, there was like a lot of water. There was wood. Have you ever heard of wood?
No. Is that like a metal?
Yeah, like it's not like a metal at all. It grows spontaneously where there is water, and it's like a
Gross.
living thing.
Is it like
It's a
those
living thing.
boxes we found? Jason, would I know do I think it's wood, the boxes we found?
Yeah, they were petrified,
Yeah,
almost to the point of stone, obviously, as the petrification had set in. The stone crates possibly could have been wooden crates. The description seems to match, just the texture not quite the same.
This seems
well,
so
I'll go on. Go on. Yes, I would be like describing the past with like very very passionate discourse, and I'm really happy to have someone to talk to that is not like a completely insane entity, and I'm really happy talking about it. We had like birds living inside of the trees. Trees is the living things that makes wood, and inside of it you had birds like Harrow. Harrow became like a birdman. We had like tiny little ones of them flying everywhere. Yes, birds.
Gray, as you listen to Merrick's story, there's a bit of recognition here for you. A lot of the lore and fanciful, almost insights of your priestesses and the one that guided you through your vision quest spoke of once when the Stonewood once was like this. Obviously, more so as a way to maintain cohesion and understanding of what they still are looking for. But there's trace amounts of understanding for you. For Dara and Zephora, it's completely and utterly confusing. It's almost to the point of sheer fantasy.
Well,
just so much. I know that's kind of what we were hoping to do, but it just seems so impossible. The fact knowing that it's actually was real and it's not just a story. Maybe we can achieve that.
The conduit stone, it has a plan, and bringing me here was just part of it. I don't think we can fully understand what is at stake as we move through our day-to-day adventures. But I'm really happy to be with you guys because, like, you are normal. Relatively.
What is normal?
I knew Gray would get a kick out of that one.
well, I've never
you
been
are
told I was normal, so this is a
you are
step up for me.
consistent. You won't like just fade away from existence at any moment. This is good. I hope so. I mean, Harrow did it. Yeah, I see what you mean. Well,
Well,
I'm just getting emotional here. Sorry.
Well, you
I'm
seem
going to have to talk to you more about that. I need to learn about that. Emotions.
Emotions. Yes, they are what keep me alive, Very strange that you don't understand emotions, but I'm pretty sure you have them.
sometimes feels strange when I do things like kill an enemy or, you know, that type of thing, but
Okay. I have an idea. Imagine that you are killing someone right now. Don't kill anyone. Just imagine.
It's that creepy
I'm
You
fucking
see, that's an
face.
emotion. That's an emotion.
Dar's
You
like,
see what I mean? This is an emotion. You know, it's something that is not what you're. It's something that is connected to memory. That's why I'm so lonely, in fact, and now I go really sad. You know, I just sulk and go. I cast chill in everyone.
yes.
And I'm
Mistress Greenbottle
so
told me
sad.
it's happiness.
I was happy
Feelings
once,
showing
but I don't
pleasure or
remember how it was.
contentment.
When you kill somebody, it's happy. Just to be clear.
Oh, because I only kill the ones that deserve it.
We might need to unpack that later.
Hey, let's go kill someone.
I don't have many items, so I just have a very small satchel
hang
that
on.
I carry some food essentials in.
Did you just say let's go kill someone?
That is what
Yes.
was said.
Why?
Oh,
Well, it makes him happy, right?
her.
We don't kill.
Well, I don't go out killing people just to be happy. I'm gonna find some slavers
Okay, I will join you there.
and
Ah,
maybe
anyway.
burn them alive and listen to their screams, or
Oh, I know.
skin them alive and pour some salt on them and listen to their shrieks in the night while I sleep contented.
We don't descend to their level. Maybe we're better because we just kill them and just do that. Maybe.
Who's talking? Oh, the
Okay.
halfling assassin?
All right.
Why are you the only
Very
one that
thin.
gets to have
Very
fun
thin.
and be happy?
Yes, be happy. That's what she said.
I'm gonna walk away now.
as watch as Gray leaves the bedchamber that's now empty of Harrow and leaves the three of you standing there. Back to some semblance of reality, the cold emptiness of the tower begins to kind of settle in a little bit. The strange understanding of the sense of temporary sanctuary still here, but knowing that your time in this tower is pretty much limited at this point.
What are we gonna do for shelter? Merrick, can you make a tower like Harrow can? Or could?
Oh, no. Why would I?
Well, there's a lot of dangerous things that we tend to need. It's okay. We'll find a way. We always make a way.
Oh, well. we're
Oh,
going to
yes, you're
die out
still
here, most
alive.
likely.
I forgot that you're still alive.
Yes, for now at least.
Mostly.
Yes. I would like to keep it that way, but no, I can't make a tower.
Okay. So our first order when we make our plan is going to be how to have shelter when we need it. The wastes are dangerous. The wastes will kill you, and it's a bit of a journey still to get to the valley.
Dara, give me
Yes, Los Angeles. Everybody knows that journey to get to the valley.
Dara, give me a survival check really quick. You still have Harrow's maps available to you.
Sarah's good at survival. That is a 25.
25. Based on the maps, you're of the impression that by foot, it's about a 2 to 3 week journey. Otherwise, acquiring some other means of transportation may be required. But yeah, based on what you currently have and have available to you and the other three, if you have to make it by foot over this part of the waste, it's going to be a long journey.
Okay, so we have Harrow's map. Based on what I know and where this is, it's probably going to take 2 to 3 weeks, unless we can find a way to get there quicker. Maybe another beast that's roaming. It's going to be a long journey. We need to make water, make sure we have food. I can probably find a starting point for us to track out, but it doesn't solve our base need going forward.
So, giant shell. That seems like a place to start. That was probably burnt to pieces because of the acid.
Have a piece of shell. I mean, maybe we can fashion sleds and have the shale raptors, or I don't know.
Can we? What type of ground are we going to be moving across?
It appears to be mostly sand here. Is that right, Jason? Would we be moving across sand?
I mean, when you guys were moving back and forth between the ruins and the very edge of the Raptor Highlands where you're at, the landscape had altered itself slightly because of the acid storm that had come and gone and then resurged again. It's a bit of a toxic fume of sand and rock and rough terrain, hills, low-lying, decaying hills, and blasted kind of outcroppings make up the Raptor Highlands. The space between the Raptor Highlands and the journey to Femur Valley, for the most part, has always been the domain of the worm. And the worm wastes themselves are just a vast sea of sand, just boiling and roiling sand dunes and sand fields that just go on for days and days. Most of the maps speak to travel by air, and that would explain some of the kind of direct approaches that the maps show. These maps were designed more for traveling differently. The assumption would be the maker of these maps assumed that they were being handed off to someone who had the ability to move through the air quite quickly and a bit more safely.
Golly gee, if only we had somebody who just learned how to fly.
Yeah, good job leaving us hanging.
No, he's left us on the ground, not hanging. We're
Yeah.
hanging.
Hanging for our hankering of hanging.
It's just sand across there. It's the worm waste, like that one we ran into before the storm. It's gonna be. I mean, everything's dangerous, but it's gonna be dangerous.
Can we make skis?
Have a chunk of snail carapace, and there might be some other left. We could probably fashion skis.
Can Philip be our our sled pulling creature?
I mean, he's gotten a little bit bigger, but he hasn't grown to adulthood yet at this point.
I know that he can't, but it would be so good.
And for the first time, Merrick, you see Philip as Philip comes out of the backside of Gray, like from underneath cover, and kind of this hideous looking spider with mandibles and a kind of an assist leg kind of thing connected to it, as some of its legs were damaged or removed.
Where is it? It's climbing Gray.
Like right on her, it's right on their shoulder, like right on the shoulder.
I was screaming, "Watch out, Gray! Watch out, Gray! There's something attacking you. Be careful."
Yes, there is in fact something attacking me. She is losing her mind right now. No, this is Philip, and I swear to you, if you do anything to threaten my spider friend, we're not going to get along. That's it. That's the rule. We have one rule.
And she's describing, or they're describing it as this beautiful little animal, this creature. And meanwhile, it's like mandibles and little like venomous ichor dropping out of its the front of its face. Its eyes are all kind of like lit up and refracted in your image. And it's just
It's a pet. Okay, I like this. It's wholesome also. I like it. You're cool.
You can
You're
stay.
cool. I won't pet
Well,
him.
I
I won't
wouldn't
get
recommend
near
it.
him.
We could see what
But
type of
yeah.
animals we could find out here. I don't know if we could find another snail, but
Sephora, could you communicate with your animal out here? See if it'll help us.
if I could find one.
I don't see. I mean, we don't have the drakes. We don't have a way to fly across. That appears to be the most direct way on these maps, but I don't know how we could manage that.
I kind of feel like we just need to start moving and then
See what we
find
can see.
something on the way there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take some more of the snail carapace. I think that was a good idea. We can. I have, some skills with fashioning armor. I'm sure I could fashion.
Maybe we could like fashion like put all our equipment on, and then if we do run into dunes, we could like at least slide down one part of the dune.
Make like snowshoes of a sort, like kind of walk on the sand a little bit, then we can kind of shuffle around maybe.
Yeah, I was trying to see what I could.
So you guys are near that time period of the need for a long rest. The escape from the ruins definitely bringing you to the edge of exhaustion. The psychic kind of interplay that had occurred. Merrick being born a second time has a little bit more of a tangible feel this time because, well, dying was hard. Coming back into existence was almost exhausting. Dara, go ahead and give me an intelligence check really quick.
I hope I have advantage on intelligence. No, I don't. That was a 1 for a total of 6.
Now give me sleight of hand with disadvantage, please.
Okay, a little better. I did a 12 and a 15, so it's a 12 plus 3. That's 15.
Okay. You struggle for the most part, but you manage to fashion just barely one section of carapace that you feel like you could put all the extra equipment on, and you manage to fashion a very simple harness that'll allow you to pull it and give you the capacity of a bit more space.
Philip pulled the what without us on it, just with the equipment on it.
Philip's not quite large enough to be able to do that. And that's my fancy way of saying I'm still working on Philip's stats. But Philip is growing quite exponentially. And as long as Philip is alive and doesn't become, fodder for any, buddy out there in the wastes, he potentially...
Philip is technically probably undead a little bit, so it's fine.
Oh, we're all a little undead, I can assure you of that.
We're all a little undead on the inside,
Because we all need a cold hug. So, with that, all of you managed to do a last bit of preparation, reviewing maps, going over plans, going over concerns, and one by one, for probably the last time for some time, you fall asleep and all of you take a long rest. As you wake up the following morning, you now have maybe 8-10 hours remaining on the tower at this point before it dissipates.
Let's prep some utility.
So you have some time, but what would you like to try to accomplish before the tower fades?
Breakfast will be ready because I don't sleep. So as soon as you wake up, there is fresh coffee or whatever it is, the equivalent of it.
Dirty water. Or dirty coin water.
There is fresh, dirty water for
Dirty
you.
coin water.
It's like, you know how a coin's
In
all
fact-
dirty because it's been handled so much. It's
In
just like
fact,
the water's the same way.
I would spend my time during the long rest if I don't have to sleep,
Yeah.
like surveying the area if there is anything useful I could find. Around.
Give me an investigation check.
Yeah. Oof, that's a 23.
23. Harrow keeps strange items, but none of them more strange than the fantasiful approach that he had given himself to his library, his study, his visions, the temporary visions of things that he had found. Metal masks, great iron staves, and books, and none of these actually have corporal form, as you know, this tower is only a temporary haven that sustains his memories of items that either he has encountered or profited from or traded in one form or the other. There's nothing for the living in this tower. There's nothing for those looking to gain sustenance or to gain advantage. This is merely a haven of shelter, allowing you to take a moment's respite and gather your thoughts. Everything here has the illusion of comfort, but there's kind of cold expanse to the place as you kind of move from room to room to room. Sure, it has laboratories.
What about outside?
As you get to
what about outside the tower?
Yeah, as you get to the door.
Okay.
And look through the door that goes to the outside space. It is rock, sand, puddles of green, acidic liquid that's giving off a weird kind of green, hazy-like fume. You can see that the light of day is here, but it's a shattered and horrific-looking landscape for the most part. And somewhere on the other side of this landscape is the Raptor Highlands. And somewhere on the other side of the Raptor Highlands is the approach to the Femur Valley. But for you, Merrick, looking upon this place that you have a vivid memory of being so lush and so just reinvigorating, it's a hellscape. It is a putrid disaster that harbors very little, if no life. It's the antithesis of what you remember it to be. Weighs on you a bit.
I thought it could be all a dream for a moment.
It's now morning.
One of Harrow's nightmare.
Now morning. All of you have some time before the tower fades. All of you, for the most part, watch as Merrick seems to be wandering adrift amongst the tower. You watch as he takes a moment to look out the door. A very kind of strange, cautionary look on his face. What would the four of you like to do?
Gonna see how many coins I have here.
Yeah, to kind of take assessment of, belongings we have as far as like water resources, kind of look at the map. I'm still kind of fretting over how we're gonna, having traveled the waste, I'm kind of fretting over how we're gonna get place to place.
Well, I have 75 coins. So that's water at least.
Yeah, I have that as well. And you said create food water could only make enough for me, right?
Yeah, as an offering. for you, and then a portion of it has to be offered and destroyed to allow it to even come into existence.
Yeah, I don't. Trying to figure out if we had food sources, like if we would have like, I don't know, raptor jerky or something. I don't know if we've explicitly like gone through a collection of food resources.
I would say the one thing you do remember gathering from the base of the tower previously and doing a bit of harvesting were the sand crab larvae and sand crab eggs. And you did manage to harvest and gather about a week's worth of unpreserved food. Enough to maybe take some time to try to preserve it and make it extend even longer. But it's going to be dicey near the edge of its expiration as natural food. Other than that, you guys mostly fled Espis with virtually very little other than what you had on your personage.
Did we ever get any raptor skins, or do we have skins of something? I feel like I remember that.
I'm trying to think back.
Hmm.
I don't.
When would you, before I was here, or when we were doing the?
Was
Yeah,
it
I feel like we
pre-conduit
skinned
stone or after the conduit stone?
something, but I don't
It only-
know.
Did we get anything like, yeah, like skins or something from helping wrangle the raptors?
Well, I think originally you were going to be gifted either raptors or lesser air drakes based on how efficient and how well you did during the raptor
We
hunting.
were, but we never got them.
Yeah, but unfortunately Espis is now, who knows where it is and what's transpired or happened.
Did the disc I have from Mistress Greenbottle, is that something I could attempt to
give me a
use?
Arcana check.
The one thing I'm probably not that good at.
I'm going to start using Druidcraft to attempt to start weaving together a like structure for a tent.
Not too
I
bad.
know
I
that'll
got
take a really long time, but
Mhm.
I'm going to
But
start.
you're like weaving like poles and weaving like parts and bits that eventually you could assemble. Okay.
I got
I'll
a
check the
14.
Okay.
14.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing you pick up on looking at this small silver and copper disc in its compass-like fashion, whatever magic was infused in it felt very much one-dimensional and single use. And you do remember that Greenbottle had kept this as an emergency option to be able to flee if necessary, which is what kind of gravitated you towards it. You get the feeling that you expended whatever power was fused into it. It's now simply a metal compass device with no magical remnant left in it.
Okay.
I'm gonna see like with the sources we have around if I could like construct something to like spread pieces of like meat across to try to start drying and maybe even somehow like mount it to the carapace.
Harrow did fabricate the illusion of a kitchen, and for the most part, it works. Go ahead and give me a nature check really quick. That cat is adorbs.
Yeah, she's just attacking everything at the moment.
Yeah, she's full of energy. They get like that, and then suddenly they zonk out for like an hour or two.
Correct.
That is 17.
17. You spend a couple hours using all the methods of the kitchen to preserve about 8 pounds of the sand crab meat and larva remnants. You pack it away. You create enough rations for the 4 of you to last 5 days.
3 of you. I don't need it.
That's true. Merrick doesn't eat.
Yeah. I'm dead.
In that case, it will last you 7 days.
And that was that all of us for 7 days, or just me for 7 days?
The 3 of you
Okay.
for up to 7 days.
Should I write
Merrick,
that?
go ahead and give me a charisma save.
Okay. It's in saves, right?
Yep.
11.
11. Not really sure where the emotion's coming from. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Dara spends a few minutes doing some pre-prep of the food, and she cooks a small, thin slice of it and pops it in her mouth to taste it and make sure her preservative method works. Your stomach feels a little strange. Gurgles a little bit. Makes a little bit of a pang feeling. Not sure where that came from, but it seems strange. Normally you wouldn't be hungry, but maybe it's just a memory. Who knows? Gonna go back to wandering the tower, looking, poking about. Anything else you guys would like to try to accomplish through the morning before the tower fades by the afternoon?
Just look at the way that it was constructed and try to like remember how he did it, even though I know that I'm not like gonna be able to do it. I just want to try to remember this and maybe repeat it in
Give
future.
me an insight check.
I'm gonna go out and see if I can see any flora or fauna
Okay.
that could help us in our travels.
Okay.
Nope.
What'd you get, Gray?
Nah, 3 plus whatever my insight is.
I mean, it's impressive. It's definitely the coolest thing that you've ever seen in a long time. Clearly, Harrow has the capability and does wield great power, but the complexity just completely overwhelms you. But who knows? Maybe something out there similar to it will present itself to you.
Do you think maybe suggesting to everybody there might be something helpful back in the library as if I can make a base for a tent, if we can have something to put over it. Harrow would hate us, but what if we just paper mache a bunch of books
I love it.
of each other?
Oh,
We'll
see,
be all and fly back and kill us all.
well, I thought they would make a great fire for when it gets cold at night.
Won't the book disappear with the tower?
These are books
No.
that they recovered from the ruins.
Not a part of the
Anything
tower.
Oh, so anything I could find interesting in the books that I would like to separate?
Give me well, it's up to Gray and Dara and Zephora if they share the books with you.
Well, it's based on our survival. I don't want to keep secrets that could kill us, so I would show them my book I bought.
Right.
I took.
Yeah, anything you can look at to help us.
You don't even need to make an investigation, Merrick. This is from your time period. You're reading it, and it is the writings and apostle kind of delivery of the twins, the twin gods of Sinfoneus and Inderfen. You remember burning huge piles of these books and literature that you were told to do by the goddess Talona and forced to behave in the way that you were forced to behave in. This all looks very familiar.
It's so ironic. It's so ironic that we were about to burn this. Burned a lot of the in my time. So they are books about the twins, right? Yeah, these are probably very useful, but they are a big weight, right? We can't carry them all, can we?
Merrick. Oh, I'm gonna go out. Sorry, I'm outside.
Sephora, go ahead and give me a survival check as you're near the edge of the tower. You can see the fume and acid puddles left by the storm that had passed through.
What am I rolling?
Survival.
Survival. A 22.
22. Normally, you would imagine anything caught out in this landscape as being completely destroyed, just wiped out completely. You see no sign of immediate life. Most of what you see is rock and fume and like kind of acidic puddles that are gradually dissipating into the sand and the landscape. But oddly enough, laid out in full scale for you to see is the partial remains of a very large waste worm. The portion that you can see is about 100 feet in length. And you can see it's kind of like interior has been spilt out due to all the acid and corrosion of it. You can see its entrails are now kind of like a soupy mixture of acidity, sand, rock, and kind of entrails that are slowly dissolving. However, higher up, the beast itself is 20, 30 feet around. It's almost like watching this huge whale that's kind of like bloated in decay on this sand. You can see its great mandibles and stinger orificed mouth kind of laid out and open and askew. You can see these great ivory tooths and tusks sticking out in different directions as it takes up a good portion of the landscape. And then oddly enough, there's a chittering sound. And you watch as a flesh raptor pulls itself up and over.
Pause. A flesh raptor?
As it pulls itself up and over. And these things are definitely different. These things are creepy, to say the least. You can actually see where their stitched skin is either stapled or metallically adhered to their bony frame. These bizarre constructs that wander the wastes on occasion. But the one thing that piques your interest is that these things are manufactured. These things are made. Mr. Screenbottle has taught you that these are the creatures that the Death Squad use to look for those with specific purpose. You kind of inch a little bit further back into the tower's entrance as they seem to, you watch as another one pops its head up and looks around. Another one pops its head up and looks around. You watch as the corrupted form of an altered and augmented dragonborn pulls itself up on to the corpse of this bloated waste worm and begins to saw at it, harvesting from it. None of the creatures or it have seemed to notice you. What do you want to do?
I will step back inside.
Give me a stealth check as you do that.
To let everyone know. Oh. I got a 7. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. It's not a... Okay.
At
so
the
I'm
last
very
minute,
stealthy.
as you step inside, you thought you heard a shift of noise or something, but couldn't really see. And you close the translucent door. You guys, the three of you, watch as Zephora comes running up to you.
there's some flesh raptors out there that are used by the slavers, and there's a dragonborn with them on the carcass of a sandworm. We might... I don't know if they're hunting us, but could be.
Okay, these are good.
Why
These will do.
flesh golem, though? Why? Why must that be a thing that exists?
Dara,
They
give
are a
me
construct.
an insight check really quick.
Have to find another D20. This other one's rolling shit.
Dice jail now. Close the door.
Okay, the dice jail. Oh, that's better. I'm sorry, what was the insight you said?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, I have advantage. Oh, yep. That is a dirty 20.
Give me a history check with advantage, please.
That is a 19.
19. You're actually familiar with what these sub kind of groups do within the death squads. It doesn't make much sense that it's here for you. Your journey from Espis, the randomness of this location, this feels more like a coincidence than purposeful to you. A little chill kind of runs up your spine thinking about these creatures. These flesh raptors, a product of the master surgeon in Wyndham. Something that Gregor himself kind of fancies. He's usually flanked by no more than 2 to 3 dozen of these creatures as his personal like pets. But the Dragonborn, the augmented Dragonborn that Sephora describes for you, this is a pack hunter. This is a group that may be already tracking something else, and you've just happened across its path. You don't get that sense that it's looking for you, but they hunt in small groups, usually no more than 1 or 2 Dragonborn and maybe a half dozen or so of the flesh raptors that are created by the master surgeon. But you do remember these creatures. They're quite terrifying to think about.
The flesh raptors exist because of the master surgeon. They create them, they send them out with the death squad trackers to hunt down people or things or constructs that have escaped. I don't think they're here for me. They wouldn't know to find me with every place I've been.
But there was a death squad coming after us on Espis, so, I mean...
I think they were for all of us. No, I don't think it's specifically me.
Yeah. But we
Well,
need
Do you
to
think they'll
kill
notice
them?
if the tower disappears?
They'll definitely notice if the tower disappears and we're standing there. They're
Well,
dangerous, but it might
it's
be
a slaver, and I want to kill it.
right. It's like
You
it,
were
I've
very
already
excited about
chosen
murdering.
the books I want to take. I say we
think-
kill them.
yeah, I think it's more dangerous to leave them alive if we're going to be discovered, and we could benefit from the sandworm.
Caesar, it's like a dream come true. It's your wish fulfilled. Let's kill something.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I'm happy.
That's an emotion.
What's that? What are you doing with your finger, Gray?
I am experiencing an emotion of joy.
Oh. Good.
Whoa.
I'm sure your dagger is. Might get to sink itself into a nasty little dragonborn.
I don't know. What do you think? Speaking towards the dagger.
Give me a persuasion check. Let's see if it's even
Good.
recovered
attention
from
at all?
the episode with Harrow.
11.
There's kind of like a cold disconnect. This kind of sense that it might have been slightly satiated by whatever occurred the previous day.
Oh, now we're gonna be silent. Now we're gonna be silent. So that I look like a crazy person. Cool.
Aren't
She
all
usually
magic
has a very
sentient daggers
strong
like that?
opinion about this whole thing, and she's not giving it to me right now. So, anyway,
Well, are you going to come and help me, or
Oh, I'm going with you.
oh, let's go kill some slavers?
Let's go. We'll just walk out.
Yes.
Give you guys a
Let's
little
go.
bit of reminder of what the landscape looks like.
yeah, a
Oh,
nightmare.
all right.
Mhm.
Well, we'll take the high ground and see if we can sneak around. I don't know.
So you guys leaving the tower?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
As-
go after them.
As you crack the
Sneaky,
door,
sneaky.
as you crack the door open on the tower and look out,
I just run a hand on the wall for a last time.
that kind of last feel of the inside of Harrow.
I think Zephora got the last feel of the inside of Harrow.
Yeah.
At least the base of his skull.
As all of you are looking out the door, there's no sign of the raptors that Zephora has described, the dragonborn that was up on the carapace. You could quite see that something was. You could see where huge pieces of flesh and skin had been carved out of the bloated corpse of the worm. All of you give me perception checks, please.
One thing I'm good at.
Angry dice 11.
9. I got a 19.
Okay.
9.
Okay. Merrick?
Just a second. It's 17.
17. Zephora and Merrick, you can make out the sounds of something being packaged up, loaded up from the other side of the bloated worm corpse. You get the feeling there's someone there, you just can't see him. Now, the worm corpse itself to your right goes on for a solid, 50 or 60 feet. To your left, 30 or 40 feet up to where the kind of like decaying head of the corpse is itself. Height-wise, it's about 15, 20 feet up to where it curves over and you lose sight where the bits of flesh and skin have been harvested from it. But both Zafar and Merrick, you can hear something on the other side. Something's going on.
Well, I'll circle around the shorter part of the carcass then.
Are you being stealthy?
Yes, I'm gonna sneak.
Okay, go ahead and give me a stealth check. Did you guys
Come
watch
on,
Zephora
stealth
begin
check.
to kind of
Nice.
creep and crawl to the left of the bloated worm?
That's better. Let's see. 17.
Okay.
Will you tell us before you start sneaking that you think there's something on the other side, or do you just go?
Yeah, I'll tell you. They're on the other side, packing something up. Maybe there's transport.
Yeah. You're gonna sneak around. I'll climb up and jump on.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go through.
Yeah. Great. What are you gonna do?
I'll go through the.
Okay.
Merrick,
Okay.
you approach the bloated worm. Dara, you begin
Yes.
to approach the bloated worm. Gray, what are you doing?
Oh, God, this seems like a bad idea. Okay, so we saw the thing, did the thing. I don't have a clever plan. I don't have a clever plan. Harrow's the guy with the clever plans. My brain's fried. So I just proceed cautiously.
You watch as Philip goes running down your chest and down your leg, immediately skitters over to some of the corpse-like remains of the worm and just starts eating voraciously. His mandibles digging into it, pulling big chunks of meat and kind of desiccating it into its mouth. Merrick, as you near the worm and you attempt to pass through it, there's resistance.
Yes,
Your corporal
I'll see how
form,
that goes.
your corporeal form, bound with the conduit stone, seems to have given you mass. And as you try to push like you would normally in your wraith-like existence through the edge, there's enough resistance where you can't quite get through it.
Oh,
And it
that's
kind of
odd.
pushes you backwards, and it's strange. It's like, huh.
Huh.
You can see Zephora creeping off to the left. Gray is standing nearby, kind of confused. Dara, give me stealth check. And Merrick, give me a stealth check as well.
Excuse me, I said I proceed cautiously. By
Yeah,
that I
that's
meant
pretty confused
stealthily,
looking
thank
for
you.
Gray. Gray is sitting there whistling and playing the harmonica loudly.
All right.
Good thing I
I
tested
might be
this
foolish, but I'm not
instead
an
of
idiot.
like
All right.
trying to run away from people. This would be bad.
So Dara, what'd you get for stealth?
That was a 16.
16. Okay. Go ahead and give me acrobatics or athletics to attempt to climb the corpse-like worm. Gray, give me stealth as you're beginning to move cautiously and slowly. Merrick, what'd you get for stealth?
It was a 29.
Nice. That's one thing you're definitely good at.
That was another 16.
And here comes Gray's natural 2.
I mean, look, not quite.
Gonna be
You know what? I saw a disadvantage. I was like, it won't get worse. It did. 6.
6. So, Merrick, as you approach the creature attempting to pass through it, Dara, you kind of heave yourself up and grab onto some of the exposed ivory interior and the flesh, and you're pulling yourself towards the top of the creature. Zephora, you're creeping around the head of the mandible section of the creature. Merrick, you're finally able to resist and push through. It's a little odd. You don't know if it's a control thing or what, but you focus in on your wraith existence, and suddenly you're slightly more translucent, and you're able to begin pulling through. All of you hear a very kind of like sloshy liquid sound as Gray slips into an acidic puddle off of a slippery piece of rock and makes a great splooshing sound, as well as takes 8 points of acid damage from the puddle of acid that she kind of that they slip into.
Love it.
Zephora and Merrick, suddenly there's no sounds coming from the other side. Dara, as you heave yourself up and look, you're looking down on a very large metal sled, and attached to that metal sled are 6 of the flesh raptors harnessed to it. And this metal sled even has like a Vargo style cabin on the rear portion of it. You can see 3 dragonborn that were busily packing up some bundles of skin and ivory and some other things. And they all 3 immediately turn to look up and see you looking at them right over the edge of this bloated corpse worm. Zephora, you come creep around the mandibles, and you now see this as well. Merrick, you kind of pause through the bloated worm, and then you can see this as well. And all of you can hear the bit of pain and yelp coming from Gray as they have splashed into an acid puddle. They're very much aware of you, and you're very much aware of them. And that's where we're going to finish tonight, folks, because I think this is going to take a while, and my arm is a little bit sorer than I thought that it was going to be. But I want to make sure that this encounter plays out well, because it's going to be with our new player. And I'm dying to see how you guys hijack your new transportation. I even am dying to watch Gray fall in love with flesh raptors and see how that works out.
All right.
So happy Friday, everybody. Thank you for joining us. It was both sad and fun to watch Harrow make his exit, but I can assure you he will be back in the future as his NPC. He has allowed me to create some really fun NPC arcs for Harrow as Harrow evolves and comes into his own form. Brandon Z, thank you for coming by. Brandon Z, thank you for resubscribing, and everybody else who came by. Chav out in the UK. Fernando down in Rio de Janeiro, kind of getting his first glimpse into one of my games and being a player at the table, at our table of fun. But hey, we're going to be back here Sunday night for Debtor's Gambit as the shenanigans of psychotropic drugs, heavy gambling, heavy drinking during the pirate revels, and be interesting to see what's going to happen to Jin as he will reemerge as well. And it should be quite the shenanigans Sunday night as we are at the revels, and well, gotta check it out. It's gonna be lots of fun. Everybody, the abouts, everything you need to know about us is down below, including all of our family of creators. Uncanny Pros, the odds are here. There's the TGAC company down below. The dark designs of Ivar's down below as well. Please give them a visit. Give them some hugs and loves and some follows. Let them know that, hey, you know what? It's cool to be a creator. I'm a storyteller, not a creator. I storytell the fun excitement that these players allow me to participate with. And I will finish tonight by saying, as I always say, stay safe, be kind, and whatever you do, play a game, because playing games are fun. And, well, fun is fun. Good night, everybody. Thank you for coming out.
And also, there's
Bye, have a
cats,
good weekend.
and that's fun.